What is going on, everybody? You are here at the Alpha Nerds Podcast. My name is ABN, and the nerds are here. Starting out from the place of Ohio, we have the one and only Twiz. How are you, sir?
How is it going tonight, sir?
It is going well.
Is it?
I don't know. We'll find out.
It's cold and wet, and it feels like I'm in London.
Fair enough.
You leave London out of this.
Moving on across the pond from the land down under, but not necessarily down under, we have the one and only Dean. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am chilling like a villain on penicillin, sir.
That's very well. Share some of that penicillin.
That's right. And now, staying across the pond, but moving in another direction, we have somebody that's hanging out, the one and only Ben, a.k.a. God. How are you, sir?
Very well indeed. How are you, gentlemen?
In Jesus' name we pray, man.
I am taking a bow right now as allow such a presence to be viewed right now.
It's true. Absolutely true. Now we'll go ahead and go around the room. Twiz, what have you been up to this week?
I don't know. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with him staring down at me like that.
Well, you have to watch out.
I'm not looking at you. Just
he's omnipotent.
Okay.
So
see, going on this week. Well, we're getting off to a late start because of me, because I care about my wife.
Lies. Carry on.
she stood right behind you. You like at a good point now. Do you have to say that?
I need help. No, see, I finally got my first victory royale. I have my umbrella in Fortnite, so it has been a banner week for me so far.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you, sir. You did it.
I did it.
Yeah, you did. Dane, what you been up to this week?
I finally got my first chicken dinner on PUBG on Xbox One. I feel kind of proud. I kind of feel proud of myself because it was a solo game and I didn't really kill anyone, but I got my first chicken dinner.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with being carried in the Jansport.
No, exactly. Let's start turning up to a food kitchen. It's fine.
Absolutely fine. Now we're moving on to the one and only God. What have you been up to other than not answering my prayers?
Yeah, my inbox is pretty full with that sort of stuff. I've taken a bit of a vacation to everyone profusely. I'll get around to it at some point. My PA is just not doing what she's supposed to be doing. I've been hitting up PUBG pretty hard. Unfortunately, work's been getting in the way, so I've come back with a vengeance. Only had a couple of chicken dinners. However, the nerds have become very much an integral part of our chicken dinner society right now. Being really good. I'd say anyone that isn't getting involved in Discord on a weekly basis, get amongst it, because there's a lot of people now getting very much introduced to each other. People, even if people in the States, they're working night shifts and stuff. So from all time zones, everyone's pretty much active on Discord, and it's a good way to get involved with PUBG if you're not doing it, or any other game of that course.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Alpha Nerds doing it together.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Moving on. Well, we're gonna start
Not
talking
before
about
marriage.
some of this nerd stuff that we got. The first thing I wanted to bring up is legislation. I know it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I'm bringing up legislation. I know. So, apparently in Hawaii, and then also places like Washington, Oregon, things like that, there is proposed legislation to make the infamous EA-style loot boxes illegal for individuals under the age of 21. Obviously, if you didn't know, this is coming from the Battlefront 2 controversy. So, Twiz, what do you think? What are you feeling about this?
It's stupid. I mean, if you look at where it's coming from, where this legislation is just beginning at, that I start with my problem there. I don't like. I'm a libertarian. I know we don't get into politics much, but I consider myself a libertarian. Do what you want to do as long as you're not hurting someone else. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the government of any sort telling me what I can and can't do.
Absolutely.
Be that, loot boxes, smoking what I want to smoke, drinking what I want to drink. You know, if I want to let my 16-year-old kid have a beer, I'm going to let my 16-year-old kid have a beer, and you're not going to tell me anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to buy a loot crate so that maybe I can finally, beat someone at a game, then so be it.
Absolutely.
That's my thought on it.
There is to a point, but then you've got that demographic of people from various ranges. Like you got people that can afford the loot boxes and they want to play the game, but they can't afford the loot boxes, so they end up getting beaten down by the people with the money, and that takes it back to very much today's society. Like, if you haven't got the money, you can't win.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm all up for loot boxes as long as it's like cosmetic.
Exactly.
Like Fortnite.
Yeah. Dean, what you think?
Honestly, I agree. Like, it's not I don't believe that a government should be able to tell us what to do and how to be. Like, everyone's entitled to making their own choices in life. Like, letting your 16-year-old have a drink.
But then that stands to a responsible parent as well. Like, I fully agree with my 16-year-old kid.
Well, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak for everyone. Like, I'm not a parent, but the fact is, there's people out there doing a lot more worse. Like, what is it better? Like, being supervised drinking or letting your kids run riot, doing a lot more worse than drinking, you know?
And either way, they're going to go out with their friends. One of their friends is going to from their parents' house. They're going to go get drunk and play pub or wherever the kids hang out these days. And they're going to get in the state. At least if you can have a beer with a kid and teach him about drinking, teach him about responsible drinking, he's going to be a lot safer when he gets into that environment that you can't control.
Exactly.
Yeah. For me, with the loot box,
make sure and we can make sure they drink good beer, not cheap crap.
Right.
Well, you shouldn't give them beer full stop then.
People are whinging about the PUBG update. You're getting the loot crates now, and you're now occasionally getting crates where you have to buy the keys for. To me, that's not a big issue because I can just sell the crates. They're only going for like 20p, so what's like 35 cents or whatever. But that's not a big deal to me because they're all purely cosmetic. They don't give you an advantage in the game. And yeah, if someone wants to spend $800 on a skirt because they want to fap off while they're getting chicken dinners, then fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. That's the part that I have issue with. I don't want it controlled. However, doing it smart with giving it cosmetic only and not anything that affects gameplay. Because once it affects gameplay, then it just ruins it for anyone that can't afford it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you can break that down even further. Like you got the free-to-play MMOs like EVE.
Correct.
Alpha and Omega. Now, I pay for EVE because I've been playing it for years and I've got like 58 million skill points. And if I don't play for Omega, I can't fly half the ships that I've got the skills to. Now, I agree with giving advantages like that on an MMO because someone needs to pay for the certain things. It's an ongoing project. It's not just one release. It's constantly being adapted. It's constantly being evolved, and that money needs to come from somewhere.
Yeah, there's a difference between what I kind of call the freemium model and then something that you pay for. You pay $60 for. And it's sometimes 80, 90, 100 because, you want the deluxe whatever edition. And then now you're also having to dump more money because everyone else is getting better than you because they're spending a whole lot of money.
Exactly.
I actually have Battlefront 2. And I completely understand why everybody was upset because it completely affects gameplay. Because you can be flying around and get shot only a couple of times less, which it completely matters in a full PvP match. So
exactly, it's like most of the I know it's a dirty world of gaming, but a lot of the free games. There's some really cool games out there, like 2 Revolution. That's like a full RPG you can download on your phone. But the beautiful thing I like about that is you can pay to get the advantage. However, you can also reach the same point. It just takes a little bit more grinding. Well, I say a little bit. It takes the downside a lot more grinding, but you can still accomplish the same amount in a game as someone would pay for it. They'll just get there quicker. I've got no dramas and stuff like that. It's just those free games that you get, and you literally can't get past that point unless you start throwing money at it.
Absolutely, 100% agree on that. Hey, anybody got anything else to add to this part of it?
Not at all.
All right.
I think we all agree the loot crates suck. But don't tell me if I can get them or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's kind
as
it's
long
kind
as it
of like
stays cosmetic.
the cosmetic thing, and it kind of brings up that it harkens back to the old days, right? In like the '90s and stuff like that, where everybody was flipping out about Mortal Kombat. You know, it's people up there talking about things they completely do not understand, thinking that they can legislate something. You know, it's out of control. Like,
Speaking of cosmetic items, is it Dead or Alive, the latest Dead or Alive
uh-huh.
that you can buy for Dead or Alive? Swear to God, if you bought all the costumes, all the characters, everything else, I swear to God, it's going to be like $3,000. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That is insane. This is why we can't have nice things.
Indeed.
Yeah. Next topic. The floor plans have actually dropped for E3. And we were taking a look at it. And normally, the reason I'm bringing this up, because when E3 comes around, based upon the show floor size that each developer takes, it's kind of giving you an indication of what's to come. And I know we talked about me and Twist talked on last show about Xbox pretty much trying to, call it Babe Ruth style and say that they're the ones that are going to come out and stomp everybody on games. But they were kind of giving it an excuse to say like, oh, we screwed up, but this is how we're fixing it. But looking at the floor plans, once again this year, Nintendo and Sony are running amok. They probably have some of the most space in the entire venue. Some of your other major, like obviously Activision's got a huge one, Ubisoft, all the number one, all the big ones. But it's the same thing again. Sony and Nintendo are both, coming hard. I mean, unless Nintendo plans to do one game for all the space again, but I don't foresee that. What do you
Well,
make?
it's a lot of place to put a lot of cardboard as well.
Absolutely, fair enough.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, store all the trash and things like that.
No, literally the cardboard games for the Switch. I think he's talking about.
Yeah, the Libo.
Yep.
Yeah, you're putting all the Libo out for all the kids to burn it and melt it, and
or even little like Libo kits for people to try. Here, see how easy it is to put together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they will do that, but that probably won't be that much of a space, because you got to think that for E3 they're not really going to have a whole lot of children there. It's open to the public, but it's first come first serve for tickets this year. So yeah, your big names and the developers are going to be there, and all the YouTubers and all that other fun stuff will take up all the rest of the tickets. So to me, it kind of gives another indication that Microsoft needs to get it together.
And the thing with the Sony thing as well, PlayStation 5, and they've only been concepts, they've been sort of guesstimates of what's going to happen. However, there's been a few predictions that they expect a PlayStation 5 launch in 2018. And so maybe their floor space, they might obviously have a lot of Sony stuff involved, but I could probably foresee some big unveiling of what's to come with PlayStation 5 as well.
I could see that. The PS4 Pro, I mean, selling as good as it can. At the same time, I could see that. Guys, I definitely don't like the fact that my PS4 Pro cannot play an HDR disc. I don't know why it's so infuriating. Maybe
That's stupid.
Yeah, maybe because Sony had Blu-ray for the longest time, and then they're just like, screw that. And then
Blu-ray.
And then here's my Xbox One S playing HDRs. It's an S. It's not even an X. So they're catering to a different market. Dean, do you think any of this is kind of like a specific glimpse that you think?
Honestly, obviously they're going to be showcasing a lot of things, and I think they're going to be teasing a lot to say that they're working on the PS5. But to be honest, I still think we're 2 years. We're still going to have to wait another 2 years before we get a PS5 or.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's going to be a release, but I think
they'll be teasing us, making us believe. Yeah. That's why.
Okay, like a way ahead.
Probably hide. Yeah, tease and go, hey, we're working on it, but not for another 2 years. But I think they're more trying to get the accessories out, like the VR. Because in Oz, it's not as huge like Australia. Like, not a lot of people bother with the VR. Like, I'm not sure how much of the market is based on it in the US.
That's well, Australia's beautiful. You don't really need to pretend you're not there.
Exactly. Exactly. Like seriously, if I want to put VR on, I don't want to look at America. I'm looking at already.
Fuck you.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. But I'm just being honest. If I want to see garbage, I'll just go to the rubbish bin downstairs.
Oh, fair enough.
No, but the show
Sorry,
I
I
don't
think that's the
put
best
VRs
prison
on to
that
look
the
at
British have
freaking-
ever sent you to.
Yeah, I don't look at kangaroo pouches or freaking crumpets either. So
Oh, I'm not English,
This,
mate.
have you ever tried a crumpet?
no.
You can come
Yes.
over to my house. I'll make you a cup of tea, and I'll do.
Hey man, I'm down. Go ahead and pour me a cup. We'll sit back in our smokers' jackets and pipes in front of the fireplace.
That's it.
Well, to what
It's a
Dean was
diet.
saying though, as far as the VR goes, I don't think it's really that big here in the U.S. yet. But I was at the there's a big Microsoft store at the mall near me, and I was actually in there the other day because I'm always looking to upgrade my potato, and so I was trying to get an idea. I'm starting to notice that the costs of VR headsets and everything, the whole setup for VR is actually starting to come down now. So
Yeah, it will do. It's like when SSD launched. SSD was astronomical. I mean, still fairly.
Mm-hmm.
But the more it gets into like the more. Do you guys remember the mini disc? You know when we went from tape to CD to mini disc and then MP3 sort of. Mini disc was
Yeah.
going to be the next big thing, but then all of a sudden MP3 came out and it just got superseded by that and just left at the wayside. I've been looking at 3D. I haven't got a 3D TV yet or anything else like that, just because I can't be bothered to sit on my couch wearing a pair of glasses indoors that I don't need to wear. So I've been waiting for a 3D TV to be developed that you don't have to wear glasses for. However, I could probably foresee now VR superseding 3D like MP3 did to mini disc.
Absolutely.
I can see
Yeah.
movies becoming VR. I can see a lot. Like even when you move on 10, 15 years, you could even just get hollow projection VR stuff. I think it's going to be a massive, massive market as soon as technology progresses as well.
Yeah, we're at that starting point to where it's gaining traction, just not enough traction yet.
Yeah.
Because the Sony VR is selling decently. I think HTC Vive is probably one of the bigger sellers because you got Oculus and all their massive amounts of issues with lawsuits and dealing with Facebook bought them out and all that other fun stuff. So I think as far as PC is concerned, HTC has really been running the house for VR.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of PC games are developing through that. And what I foresee is it's going to be heavy on PC. It's going to continue to develop as we go.
I think that's purely down to a specification point of view as well.
Yeah.
Consoles have the power to decent VR experience.
Mm-hmm.
could you imagine watching a movie like Hardcore Harry or Hardcore Henry in VR? That would be spectacular.
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
Brokeback Mountain. I would think I'd really enjoy that.
I don't know. I wasn't a squid, so I'll have to talk to our Navy pals about that one.
Right. But I think it's going to transition. Probably, if I was to assume, maybe next gen. Like when we actually move out of this particular console generation, I think VR will be more practical because it could be something they could actually bundle with a console versus what they're doing right now, Sony selling it separately.
But that's I think that, like you said, just the console. They can't keep up the PC. They're trying to release these 4K consoles, do this sort of stuff. It's not true 4K. However, I think their next consoles, they are literally, like you just said, then they're going to be aiming towards pushing out the VR. They're going to be aiming for the 4K. They're going to be aiming for what the console gamers really want to sort of deliver something, that, if not on par, at least below the bottom line for a PC, a top of the range PC.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're on the cusp of it. Well, it'll come around eventually. It's just just like you said, it's going to be based on the tech itself because it's got.
And I think the beautiful thing about that as well, the whole shared servicing now, going to probably cause a bit of division in opinions, but a PC game, if you had cross-platform gaming, so like someone on Xbox, someone on PC, I'd say someone with a keyboard and mouse has a huge advantage over someone with the controller. Now, people might disagree. There are some fantastically good players out there with a controller, but I would say generally 80-90% of the people are going to have a disadvantage with a controller over someone with a keyboard and mouse. The beautiful thing about VR, if you can get consoles on VR and PCs on VR, I think then, because they're the same control system, we could actually see a lot of cross-platform play as well coming into the future.
Yep. Sony just needs to get off their high horse and play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be on the way. But do we got anything else to add for E3? Any other predictions?
Nothing on the E3 front, but honestly, I think Sony just needs to start getting off the high horse and start competing with like the Microsoft, because seriously, the fact that Microsoft is offering us a lot more now, they're gonna lose their market. They really are. Like for me, exactly. I grew up on playing Nintendo 64, and my first official console was an Xbox, and then I went to PlayStation. But I'm starting to think PlayStation is gonna lose a lot of the market if they don't continue to compete. They keep on downsizing. Like they give us their PS4 Pro. Sorry, I'll go. They're giving us a PS4 Pro, but they're not giving us the full compatibility. Like, why sell us a console if you're not going to give us the full compatibility? I'm not paying $600 for half a compatibility. If that's the case, I might as well spend an extra $600, get a PC, and I can actually do 4K gaming.
And this is where that corporate greed comes into it. The more people that pay for it, it's getting saturated with stuff like that. And even look at the beautiful thing about AMD and NVIDIA. I've always been an AMD fan. I've recently just got my first NVIDIA card. That's the 1080. I've been amazingly impressed. Now, the only thing that lets AMD down, as far as I'm concerned, is their software support for their chips or cards. Yeah. But I read an article just last week that potentially AMD and NVIDIA are going to start working together to produce cards. Now, I think that is a phenomenal step forward. With both of their brains put together, I think we could see some fantastic equipment. If that goes ahead, we could see some fantastic coming out in the sort of next 5 years.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, I am really, really sorry. I've got a meeting I need to rush to, so I'm going to have to bang out really short. I wish you all the best of the rest of the podcast. Goodbye to everyone else, and I hope to see you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. We'll see you.
And that was free.
Yeah, let me go ahead and make some transitions real quick.
And by meeting everyone, what he really means is he's meeting with the Queen to have tea and crumpets with her.
Absolutely.
Ah!
Now I gotta.
Well, he better not come empty-handed.
Right.
Because the Queen won't be happy.
Yeah, we got anything else to?
This is
what while I'm setting this up. I fix the cameras here, but while I'm doing that, I'm gonna give a Nintendo prediction. Yeah, I'll probably keep talking about it. It may modify it as it goes along, but what I think is going to happen is we're going to see HD remakes. And
absolutely.
I'm expecting Skyward Sword. Yeah, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I'm expecting that to be something. I'm also hoping for the what do they call it? Nintendo Virtual Console. Because I want a full fleshed out Virtual Console playing Nintendo 64, just like we did on all the other consoles. So, I mean, I don't know. Anybody else got anything to add with that?
Honestly, I think they're going to... Honestly, I know how much of the big success the Nintendo Switch was. I guarantee they'll tease us with another Switch. Something like, I don't know the Switch. My housemate owns one, and I can guarantee it they'll release another Switch. Something that this current model is not going to have, and they're going to go, oh, this new Switch is going to have a camera, or this is going to have expandable memory, or whatever. Because a lot of people have an issue. or the VR Switch, yeah, like you'll be able to do cross sharing or something like that on the lines.
You'll be able to play. You'll be able to play tennis in VR on the Switch, and
Or you'll be able to play and get it.
They did, however, put a
to...
patent out there for taking the Switch and putting it into a VR headset. So the patent is out there. So there is a possibility we could see something like that. I don't really think Nintendo's going to go that route because they have too much going in software right now. I have a lot of indies and really good games just in this year early. I mean that haven't even been announced. And they still have so many other things that are just sitting back. They're just waiting to be kind of let loose. But moving on to the next thing, we got a study from, there was a couple of universities that came together. One was like University of Arkansas, and then some from overseas, and they all kind of came together. And they found out that 1 hour of gaming can increase the brain's ability to focus. Researchers have demonstrated that just 1 hour spent playing video games has an effect on the brain. What? What were we doing?
Squirrel.
Right. But it's really interesting. The specific game that they used in the test was actually League. They used League of Legends for this particular run, which is kind of funny considering they chose that one. And actually, it even got published in the Journal for Frontiers in Human Neuroscience.
Ooh.
Right.
Well, there you go.
That's right. Space shuttle brains or something. I was looking at that and I thought it was, it's kind of that, well, duh moment that, it takes a super brainy scientist to come in and verify what we've all talked about or what we already know.
Well, I mean, they did research. I remember when I was younger, hearing about them doing research and how playing games actually increases your hand-eye coordination.
Correct.
So, I mean, just to hear that, this is also true is, to me is like, well, no, duh. I mean, we already kind of knew all that.
Exactly.
Thanks for confirming what we knew. By the way, just in case you knew, water's wet.
Get out.
And there's a song called "What Does the Fox Say?" Right, Dean?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Inside joke.
Yep. I like looking at these kind of things because it's the same thing, right? Because if you were a Super Nintendo gamer, for example, let's say you started out regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, where a lot of your games were things like JRPGs and stuff like that. And almost every game back then, because there was nobody talked, right? There was no voice acting. You had to read it all. So it was those simple things, right? You were essentially forced to read. So even if you didn't like books, there you are reading essentially a novel right in front of you on your television screen. And it's just those kind of skills, the muscle memory, just like you said, the hand-eye coordination, the focus. I can understand, especially with a game like League, especially if they're playing in a decent tier. Then, I mean, your ability to focus and be able to play mid or play lane, all that other stuff. Then, duh.
I mean, I credit things. I credit games like Command and Conquer, my all-time favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah!
Teaching me, strategic thinking and thinking, I got to do this before I do that, and planning, okay, the horde's going to come this way, so let me angle my wall so it forces them to come, around to my defenses, and I can chop them up that way. And then you have games like now PUBG and Fortnite, where audio is such an important thing, and listening to what's going on around you and picking up audio cues to know that, wait a second, I hear something over, at 180, or I heard shots fired. It's not sniper fire. So, even though it's violent content, and I know that's a different discussion that we could have another time, but it's such an important thing that it absolutely, I become so focused when I'm playing Fortnite that the wife will come down at 3 a.m. going, "Are you still playing that? Don't you have to work in the morning?" Oh crap. Yeah, I do. So
exactly.
which I become so hyper focused on it, where I'm so scatterbrained and ADD the rest of the time. So yeah, duh.
Yeah, we can't say that enough. I mean, it's absolutely it's absurd, yet just verifying all the information that we already knew. It's already there. And the flip side of that, obviously, we all know that there's now a diagnosis for video game addiction. So you have, on one hand, researchers saying that playing a video game for an hour increases your ability to focus. And then on the other side, they're telling us that, well, there's a serious problem with video game addiction. Where does it draw the line? Because you could essentially put the line wherever you want and make it a video game addiction at any point. You could play 30 minutes a day for 5 days, and there's a lot of people out there that aren't into video games who would assume that would be a video game addiction.
I mean, when I think of video game addiction, I think of the stories you hear coming out of Japan where a guy plays for 30 hours straight and then dies in his seat because he never stood up and he ended up with embolisms in his legs.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking about for game addiction. I get that there are people that could run into something like that, but honestly, in America, I think we have more of a social media addiction, more of a cell phone addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see it all day long when I see people walk around staring at the little stupid things. Even now, Chris is glancing down and looking at his because, he's wondering, wait, where's my cell phone?
You caught me. You caught the tape.
Yeah, I did.
What do you think about that, Dean? How is that kind of stuff going down in your area?
Absolutely. Like, everyone's addicted to social media. Like, everyone broadcasts their life on social media. Everyone needs to be able to tweet or Snapchat or Instagram or let everyone know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really interested in finding, like, even dating these days. No one's really interested in finding out a person by face-to-face conversations. Everyone needs to stop, go, oh, I need to go to the toilet. You can find everything you know to know about a person by stalking them on social media, like Facebook, or because everyone posts their life on Facebook. There is no mystery anymore. Like, you can't be a new person coming in and go, hey, such and such, and I do this. People don't want to listen to your conversation. They'd rather find out everything they need to know by stalking your Facebook account.
Exactly.
And
it's completely different.
There's no
because
mystery.
They put they have we have all this social media and everyone's glued to it. But for some reason, here we are again playing this game of let's go after video games because they're the problem. What? The video game industry is starting to eclipse the movie industry. So you're essentially biting the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, internet consumption is just going to continue to skyrocket year after year after year. It'll probably get to the point where we don't even have movie theaters anymore and we're just going to be able to watch it from home. You'll just have to pay more money to see it early. I could see something like that happening, and then you can't get an actual purchased copy or whatever. But yeah, I brought this up because it kind of mirrors each other, because you have researchers saying good things while other researchers are saying bad things simultaneously.
Well, I mean, that just goes to any kind of researching. I mean, you got some people that say you don't eat eggs, and there's other people that say eat all the eggs you want.
Right.
Exactly.
Drink milk. Alcohol's bad. A little bit of alcohol is good. Do this. Don't do that. It's all a guessing game.
Exactly.
And you look at the people that lived 106. Mm-hmm. They smoke a cigar every day. They drink a shot of whiskey all the time. They eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, a steak for dinner, all the carbs they want, and they're 107 years old and still smoking that stogie right there.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you get the health nuts that are focused on, I got to have a creatine, this and that, and I'm all worried about my body image. Something I don't have an issue with, obviously. And they're dropping like flies. You figure it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive. It kind of argues with itself. But I mean, that's fairly normal. We see that kind of stuff happening all the time. But moving on to a brighter future, because that's pretty dull and dark.
Just let me say this last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a mate who never drank, never smoked, didn't eat red meat whatsoever. Like, used to run 5 miles every day. He dropped at the age of 32. Like, he went his whole life, never had meat, never drank, never smoked. We used to run 5 miles every day, and you dropped at the age of 32. Like, people say you have to do all this shit to look after yourself. But you can go your whole life eating the right food, doing the right diet, but you can still die at a young age.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's too many variables. The human body just has too many variables to generalize an entire, species, essentially. Because it's just like observing an animal species in the wild, they're not all the same. They're not literally identical. Each one of them's different. But since we actually have the Olympics going on, believe it or not, there is a huge push for esports to be added to the Olympic Games. The International Olympic Committee is considering adding esports as a medal-producing event in the 2024 Olympics that are going to go on in Paris. Part of this particular evaluation is the StarCraft 2 tournament that was going on at around the same time as the Olympics were going on. So, what do y'all think about esports making its way to the Olympics?
What games are they going to play?
Yeah, exactly. What games are they going to play? And then, obviously, some scientist is going to come out with another survey saying, "Oh, this is not a sport. This is wrong. You're encouraging people to do."
Well, I think we talked about it before. It'll be like, because the anti-doping league's going to have to get involved, right? Because, I mean, that's the big thing with the Olympics. somebody using an energy drink so they can move faster or something like that.
Forget that. You're gonna have to have tech experts to make sure that no one has aim bots and they're not this, that, and the other.
If I was making an assumption, just like it said here, it would probably be at least something like StarCraft 2, because that has more of a broad appeal. You could see League,
FIFA, Madden.
No,
Madden, go Madden.
Nah, not Madden, because that would just be an American thing.
That's right.
Where real football goes down, but
USA.
That's fine. Also, maybe Overwatch. I could see probably Overwatch, because it's gaining a lot of steam in the esports world currently.
Well, I remember Counter-Strike being one of those games, even Halo back in its...
That's right. I don't even know why I forgot Counter-Strike.
Or maybe even... Well, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dean.
Sorry, like Halo, like in Australia, like it was huge. Like it used to be like one of those games that a lot of people would just competitive play. Mm-hmm. Like people would just set up internet cafe sessions and spend like 6 hours playing Halo with the same people every week.
Yeah, and for giving a time frame for the 2024, that means there's going to be some time to mull it over. But I'm definitely thinking RTSs, like StarCraft and stuff like that. That's definitely going to be the start, and then MOBAs like League and ones probably just League, and maybe Overwatch. But it'll probably, if I was to assume, it might just be one game. They might just start out with one singular game to start it out. But it is kind of weird to think that esports is getting to the point where you could, be sitting in front of your... I mean, don't get me wrong. Esports is super exciting. Okay, I was a pessimist at first until I actually watched a session of it, and I thought to myself, like, wow, this is actually exciting. The adrenaline actually starts pumping, even though you're just watching people literally sit there. but it actually gets exciting. You have your StarCraft 2 tournaments and stuff, and it starts slow, but then once they build all the units and they start moving the units and start breaking out the strategies, and the voice casters are like are really good at telling you what's happening, and you even if you don't know what's going on, you kind of start sitting at the edge of your seat. Like, oh man, like this is actually getting pretty serious. Like I didn't think it would go down like this, and it eventually gets to the point where you want to like start cheering for people, and then you see places like Madison Square Garden and large venues being completely full for these events. So it's definitely going to happen. It just feels weird that after it's done, you're going to see somebody stand on a podium and get a medal, an Olympic medal. So I don't know. I'm kind of on both sides of it because it's weird, but acceptable.
Well, I think we can all agree we should just go ahead and give that gold medal right to Japan to start.
Well, it's going to be Korea, absolutely, because they run. Korea runs those freaking like warehouses just full of people training. Like they are in it to win it.
But no, I think it's super cool. I mean, I've watched a few esport tournaments myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I love bringing in some of these more technologically nerdish type of esports.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I'm really into, and I don't know if either of you have ever watched any of these, is the drone racing.
I've seen them. Yeah, the Intel.
Oh my god, that is some by the seat of your pants. Oh my gosh, watch what's going to happen next, kind of stuff. So I'd love to see something like that get a nod as well. So I'm totally down with a little esport Olympic action.
Yeah, what do you think, Dean?
I agree. Like, I think we needed more to give everyone a chance. Like, even with some people who are not physically fit athletes, like they can have other ways to contribute in the Olympics. Like everyone usually gets singled out because they're not fit enough or they don't have the right time to compete. Like they'll have other ways to compete,
right?
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean that's the big debate. Is essentially the word sports. Because it says esports in it. That's normally what gets people's feathers in a ruffle, because it says sports, and you're like, "Whoa, you're not outside running around and sweating." But and it takes that person actually sitting down and playing or participating in it to actually realize how it works, and then they don't normally have an argument. Because I mean, guys like Rick Fox and Joe Montana, really big professional athletes, own esports teams now, so they know it's coming.
Well, and for those people, I have one word for you: curling. Curling is the most popular, fastest growing Winter Olympic sport. It's crazy here in the States. People are going ape stuff for curling.
Yeah,
I love watching it myself. I have no clue what's going on, but there's sweeping and there's a rock sliding down the ice and they smack into each other. I mean, if that's going to be an Olympic sport, why can't someone who plays Starkiller or League of Legends or Overkill or any other game, why is that any different?
I love how you completely botched almost all of those games.
They're all games I say. Hey,
your
I know
age is
League
showing.
of Legends.
It happens. But yeah, I think we're good with that. So closing out on the games, gamers out there for this week, you need to be looking for, if you own a Nintendo Switch, Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, the combo, because both of them are coming in the same cartridge. It's coming out February 16th.
That's the game, not the movie. Wait,
right.
no, I'm thinking Blood Rain, right? Aren't I?
Right. Yeah,
you're thinking Blood Rain.
Yeah, it's Bayonetta. And then Secret of Mana is getting its release on PS4, PC, and Vita tomorrow, February 15th. Now, I know you already know, and it's actually people have been streaming it in the guild. Kingdom Come Deliverance came out, so if you missed it, if you were asleep, you can wake up and go purchase at your local brick and mortar or at Amazon. And the other one would probably be FE. It's a pretty cool looking indie project. It's across all platforms: PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. So, closing out on games, Twiz, hit me with the comics of the week, my friend.
Comics of the week. I have 2 picks this week, which is perfect since we're closing in on time. First pick of the week is going to be a book called Cold War. It's by Aftershock Comics. Basically, all those people that have been getting their heads chopped off, frozen, so they can be brought back later on in the future when we've cured all diseases, are being woken back up and reattached to a body and having a gun slapped in their hand and being told, you're not really wanted here. So go fight this war. Don't worry about what it's about. And maybe you'll earn your place in society here in the future.
Oh, wow.
Cold War. Yeah. So it looks fantastic. Written by, let me look here, Christopher Sabella and drawn by Hayden Sherman. So Cold War by Aftershock Comics. Aftershock's a great little small press, I would say, not indie.
Yeah.
And the other one is actually a return. It's Kick-Ass number 1.
Okay.
Basically, we've all seen the movie. We've all seen the comics. Kick-Ass number 1. This new series, basically, Kick-Ass is back.
Nice.
But there's a new face under the familiar green and yellow mask.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's learn who that person is, what they're all about, and why they're wearing the mask. It kind of started a little turmoil in the comic nerd world because Dave Lewandowski was replaced with a black character. African American character. So some people were like, "What? No, who cares? As long as it's a good character."
Exactly. As long as the story is good, who cares?
Right. Someone like Kick-Ass is perfect for something like that, and just replacing it because no one knew who it was under there anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. What? I'm trying to remember. I saw an article. There was a new Star Wars comic gonna drop.
Yeah, and I took a lot of heat for this one because Admiral Thrawn, who I was questioning whether or not he was canon anymore, because I remember the blow up when Thrawn and a lot of the extended universe stuff was removed from Star Wars canon, and I was set correct. Thrawn is canon, and they are going to be exploring who Admiral Thrawn is.
So we got that on the horizon.
On the horizon.
Yep. And I think as far as the only other big thing happening, I mean, which apparently is really, really big, the hype is
real.
Yeah, like a typhoon right now. It's going out of control, but old Black Panther will be coming out this week.
Yes, it is.
Any initial thoughts, gentlemen? Let's go with D.
It's Marvel. It's Marvel, so I don't seem to I'm honestly kind of behind in the whole Marvel universe, but I'm hoping it'll be good because Marvel does always deliver.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting where they take us. It really will be, because I need to catch up on the universe as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that they disappoint.
What's the last one you saw?
Captain America: Civil War.
I mean, you're not too far behind.
Yeah, not too far.
Yeah, behind. I'm not too far behind, but when you miss a few of them, you kind of
need
to catch up. Yeah, you get lost.
Well, I mean, you got like your Thor Ragnarok, and then your Guardians of the Galaxy. They add to the story, but even if you didn't see them,
they don't add so much that you can't.
Yeah, you could watch something like a Black Panther and not be completely lost, because they're designing them in a way to where they're individual movies with a connecting feature with the Avengers movies. But
you wouldn't want to tell that to a hardcore Marvel fan. You can't just tell them, "Oh, you don't have to watch all the other ones." You never tell that to them.
Obviously, I mean, if I was to say you should see them all, but
clearly,
right? It's kind of even though DC, I think they're moving in a great direction. I say you see all the DC movies.
They are
better than they were.
They're moving in a mediocre direction.
Better than they were. I mean, for the longest time, we've only had Batman. Like that was the only successful franchise that they could push. And then we had
still the only successful franchise.
Well, and then we had, as far as movies are concerned, all right, hush. Yeah, don't jump in front of me. No, but and then we had the movie that probably should never be spoken of, because the suit was green and it was
Catwoman?
animated.
Oh,
So,
Oh God!
Steel.
Change the subject. Change the subject.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, because we've had some hiccups along the way. So the fact that we have, the fact that we have a Justice League is leagues different, pun intended, from where we were previously. Whether you like Batflick or not.
Well, I think the really interesting thing is when I was doing my brief show prep, I was checking out the current reviews for Black Panther on the advanced screenings and stuff, and it's coming in pretty mixed. I mean, a high mixed, but it's still coming in pretty mixed. And a couple of the guys that I really like to watch and listen to as far as reviewings and whatnot, they're coming back and saying that it's okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the hype is just too. It might be too strong because they're laying it out. Because I'm not knocking Black Panther, but at the same time, where we're at in the story, he doesn't make as much of an impact.
Yeah,
it's just setting his character so you know where this character comes from. It's kind of. Like the first Captain America movie and the first Thor movie, we have to establish this character so you understand their goals, the way they think, why they think that way. So I think a lot of people are going to be let down because they're tending to shoot the hype into the clouds. I'm going to enjoy it either way because like I said, I'm still that old guy that's just happy to see comic movies.
Exactly. And it's provided me what has turned into my favorite meme and favorite joke of least this week. So, starring in this movie is Martin Freeman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was Bilbo Baggins, and then also stars Andy Serkis, who was Gollum.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only white actors in the movie. They're the Tolkien white guys.
That's solid punnery. That is solid punnery, sir.
I laughed for like 5 minutes straight earlier when I saw that. That's when I realized I need to be around some non-nerds now and again, just so I can.
So you can hit.
What are you trying to say? We're not good enough for you?
Yeah, we don't have to have him answer that because we might go downhill.
Well, see, here in the States, Dean, we have what's known as the Fifth Amendment. And I'm going to go ahead and plead the Fifth.
Plead the Fifth. 1, 2, 3.
We got that here too. But damn.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got anything else to close out or what?
Dean, what do you got going on this weekend? Anything exciting?
Yeah, what you got going on?
This weekend, nothing but relax and pull my feet up.
On the Barbie?
Oh yeah, definitely. Not quiet weekend this week. Just pull my feet up and have a quiet night in.
Sipping on some Fosters.
I am not drinking beer.
They're the boomeranging out the kangaroos in the backyard.
Funny.
I figured we'd go ahead and get all these out of the way.
I know. You got here today. We have to get this out and in the open so that we can continue on with life. It's like a bucket list kind of thing.
What do you have, a text document waiting for insults?
I won't.
No, just Australian cliches.
Yeah, right.
You know what you could do? You could live stream your toilet flushing to Americans. We'd probably watch that for hours.
Yeah.
Look, it's circling the wrong way.
Wow, that's so crazy.
Wait, they're not all upside down there. What's going on?
Twiz, what you got going on this week?
Work, and some Fortnite. The usual.
Fair enough.
Everyone's playing Fortnite. I'm not. I'm pretty much the only one out here not playing that. Everyone's been trying to get me on it. Is it worth playing? What's it?
I think it's well. See, here's the thing, and I've said this before. I would play PUBG in a minute, in a hot second. I have a potato for a computer, so it will not run PUBG, but it will run Fortnite. So it's I liken it. It's the difference between playing Forza racing games and Need for Speed. You have one that has fantastic, perfect physics, and everything reacts the way it should, and you have to use strategy. And the other one is a blast because you're flying around corners at 160 miles an hour while dodging the cops. So Fortnite's like that. You can jump and build up way into the sky on platforms and drop down on people and just have these ridiculously silly kills. Whereas PUBG, you can't do that.
Fair enough. I'm probably going to be,
and it's free.
I think I'm
still
going to be writing on World of Warcraft because Battle for Azeroth. I need my allied races in my life, but I don't want to do this rep grind. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I've been doing this for over 10 years, so Blizzard knows me. So I'll probably be streaming that off and on, and then
and constantly hitting me up. Hey, Twiz, pull up my stream real quick. I need my numbers.
Yeah, man. Gotta get them numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
Gotta pump them up.
Gotta pump them numbers up.
Dude, I'm working. Just pull it up on your phone and just put it to the side. Whatever.
But you can follow me at ABNMP. You can insert any social media. It's all that same tag. Twiz, where can they find you?
As always, Betamax_13 on Twitter. I'm all over the Facebook pages, and I'm right here twice a week.
That's right. Dean, where can they find you, my friend?
Oh, they can't find me anywhere. I'm off the grid, but I will start up a Twitter page. Right. I will start a Twitter account.
Yeah, apparently, he's down under.
He's on a walkabout.
I'm sorry, okay. Just I'm not all about the tweets and Snapchats. I will get there.
All right. Well, I think that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna close out this evening. We'll be back on Saturday. Proposed time currently is 2000 or 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for you.
That's 9 o'clock types. For you normal people.
Right.
Or 2 o'clock for the people down under.
Yeah, way down under. So until then, I think we're out of here, fellas.
Juices!
Peace!